A warm welcome to our autumn Totum talks. I'm very pleased today to be joined by Stephen Allen of DLA Piper and Mark Smith of LexisNexis. They've both come along today to share some of their views on what is going on in a very changing and rapidly developing legal sector.
My name is Stephen Allen. I'm the Head of Market Strategies at DLA Piper. My role is international, which means I work with DLA globally, save for the Americas. My role is three-pronged. One is looking at how we position ourselves and how we price our work in the market. There's a lot of work around fixed pricing, right pricing, that sort of thing. The second part of my role is around making the firm more efficient, so process re-engineering the work we do today for clients so we can do that more effectively. And then the third part of the role is more long-term, which is what's our delivery model need to look like in 3 to 5 years' time.
So I'm Mark Smith from LexisNexis, and I'm the Market Development Director for large law firms, which means I am effectively the voice of the market, the voice of the customer within our business, and it's my job to really understand the market and know what's going on, know what our customers need. After I qualified, I practiced as a lawyer for 10 years. I worked in national and city firms and then moved in-house to an American outsourcing company where I looked after their international team. And after that, I did an MBA and moved into the business and then spent some time consulting with law firms and working for a legal process outsourcer before I joined LexisNexis.
Just naming a few firms, I mean, you talk to people in the market regularly. Which firms regularly come up as offering good, seamless, consistent service internationally?
There, of course, is us. And we do have an international coverage, but in the same breath, people talk about us, they talk about Baker McKenzie. Increasingly they talk about Herbert Smith Freehills, particularly not so much in the US, but particularly in our Asia Pac region. And on the US side, we tend to see Norton Rose Fulbright, but they're much, it's really up. If we see anything globally, we tend to be up against Baker Mac because we're the only two that have got that longevity of footprint, I think, and a proven delivery model.
You had the benefit of working at BLP when they had Lawyers on Demand, and it was pretty much the only model like that at the time, and other entrants have emerged since. I mean, where do you think that model sits in the market?
I think nomadic lawyering is going to be a fundamental change, and firms should either embrace it or actually think about shutting their doors. I think it's that. I think as big as LPO, nomadic lawyering is going to deliver a solution. So as you said, it used to be just BLP. We're now seeing, Freshfields use their alumni. We've got A&O Pierpoint. Simmons are now talking about doing this. Eversheds, Pinsents. So there's all a variety of this. I think effectively there are two core advantages to nomadic lawyering. One is where the client requires a lawyer for a bespoke project, or actually just as an extra set of spare hands, and you can get someone in there with the requisite quality at a price point the client's willing to pay. And actually for a lean down firm that we all are now, there's not an opportunity cost. There's a clear cost, but there's not an opportunity cost in doing that. I think that's traditionally where Lawyers on Demand saw their original business model. More interestingly though, I think it's where we then need to flex when we're in periods of demand. So traditionally law firms have filled their bench up to deal with peaks, and then as we hit troughs or we hit downturns, have jettisoned staff. That's it's incredibly expensive to do that, and two, it's massively demotivating for your workforce. And I think having a thinner, leaned core team that you're looking to develop in terms of their skill set and using a Lawyers on Demand or a nomadic lawyer model to bring bench strength when you need bench strength, I think that's going to be a core play for many firms going forward.
It's interesting, this one, because in the mid-90s I worked for a recruitment company, and we had a sort of adjunct business which was effectively nomadic lawyers who weren't permanently employed by any one or other firm. But there was this perception in the market, and this is 20 years ago, isn't it, that if they weren't employed full-time by a firm, they were therefore not good. Has the market got over that kind of perception of quality thing?
Fundamentally, I think so. So I think the fact, this to me is one of the models that firms have experimented with, and it works, so you'll see more of it. And critically, in the firms that do it, you're seeing phenomenal growth.
There's a really keen discussion point to be had in the legal services industry generally. At least 50% of lawyers are female. The model in which we encourage people to become partners is entirely biased in the favour of male or certainly non-parents, and has a much bigger impact on the progression of women's careers than it does on men. Nomadic lawyering provides an opportunity for them to have some control and destiny and get involved in some really interesting stuff. I mean, this is no longer a locum minding the shop. These are core projects that people are working on. Yeah. But I think the fact, this kind of really plays into the fact that actually, as an industry, we need to address that whole equality issue more widely in the way that we measure and reward our lawyers, so that people have the flexibility in their career employed as the same way as they would if they were a nomadic lawyer.
Stephen, Mark, thank you very much.